Okay, this video is going to be a demonstration for anybody who's wanted to make a leaflet that has got the type of fold where the two small panels come in and meet in the middle. Now this one works very well for if you want to have a cutout on the sides to be able to maybe see something in the middle. So this is the example that I'm going to work towards, but I thought I'd show you at the start to understand. So if I click on the front pages, here you see what it's going to look like from the front with the cutout looking through into the image in the middle. The image in the middle is obviously in inside pages. I've got a couple of columns set up. I've set up some drop caps. On the small panels at the side, I've got text wrapping around the cutouts. I've got a heading, etc, etc. It's a little bit simple, but it's going to show you some of the techniques of how to set up this type of page. Okay, so the way to start it is it's from the start window. We're going to start a new publication, and it's important we choose folded, scroll down to the bottom, and we choose the side fold menu. So in this menu, we've got the front, which is highlighted at the moment. This is the two small panels that come together and meet in the middle. We've got the insides. It's made up as 4 panels, but it's really 2 small panels and a big panel in the middle. And then it's got the back pages. So first thing, same as before, we're going to get rid of all of these blue parts, which are the margins. So we go into the publication setup, and in the margins, we make each of them to be 0. And OK. Now, that takes them away from all the different pages, so we don't have to do anything in the other ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the front page, I'm going to decide I'm going to have a circle in here, which is right in the middle. So I'm going to put a ruler guide in the middle so I can easily select where my circle's going, and I'm going to make the circle diameter 90. So first thing I'm going to do is again go into options. I'm going to set up my rulers so that they're in millimeters. I'm going to put a ruler guide which is halfway down, so a horizontal one. My page is 210 tall, so halfway would be 105. And OK. And sorry, add. On the vertical, I'm going to put one in right in the middle, which should be 74.25 millimeters in from the middle and add. So what I've got here now is there is my point where my circle is going to be. So I'm going to choose circle. I'm going to just draw a circle, holding down shift and then dragging gives me a perfect circle. I'll select it and change the size of it in the transform tab. So I'm going to make it exactly 90 millimeters by 90. So I can then move it and it can snap to there. So that is me got it perfectly centered on my page. Now, I don't have to do anything else with this just now actually, because when it prints out, you're just going to have this printed and you would cut it out. But for the benefit of this, I'm actually going to change that to a picture frame, and I'm going to add in the picture which I'm going to put in, which is that one there. So that's what it's going to look like as I see through mine. So I've drawn that so that I can add in some more. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the logo of the company, which you've got saved in the shared area, and I'm going to call this just the marker pen special leaflet. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some ruler guides again so that in my vertical I'm going to have them all lined up in the same place, and I'm going to have them all meeting at the far end, which is going to be checking my sizes. My total page should be 148.5, so half of 148 must take 5 off of that. Let's go for 143. Add and OK. So there's my guides that I'm going to use. So I'm going to do insert picture from file and go and find, I've got my CASA logo here, open, and I'm just going to snap that onto there so it's in, and then I'm going to set up some text, which I'm just going to say is the marker pen special. I'm going to just change that font to something maybe a bit more like what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use the stencil font. I'm going to stretch it so that it's on there, and I'll bring it back so that is onto there. It looks a wee bit stretched that way, so I'm just going to do that. So that's my front cover. That's all I'm going to have on my front cover. So now I'm going to go to my pages, go to the inside, and this is where I'm going to set up the pages in here. So I need to have the same cutout, the semicircle on here. I need my circle on here, and I need my semicircle on here. Now, one thing you can do is you can just go to here, you can say right click, and you can say Control C for copy. And then you can come into here and do Control V, and you can see you can copy it in. But I'm just going to go through the process again so that you can see. So ruler guides, I'm going to set up a ruler guide so that it's right in the middle. So again, horizontal 105. It's the one disadvantage that you have to add in more, and vertical, I'm wanting it right in the middle of the page, which is 148, 148.5. So there is my pages. I'll draw my circle again, my quick ellipse. I'll select it. I'll change it to 90 millimeters in size, and I will drop it so that it's right in the middle. Again, locking onto them, that means that it's perfectly in the circle, perfectly in the center. Now I'm going to do Control C and Control V, and I'm going to take the second one and again set that up so that it locks on to the side there, and then I'll do the same thing with the other side, Control C and Control V, and I'll put that one so it is locked on there. So that means I can use this line to cut out, this line to cut out, and this circle, which I'll again, this is where I want my image to go, so I'm going to convert it to a picture frame, and I will add in the picture that I wanted to add in, which is this one here. Okay, so that's me got to sort of main bulk at the start. So for the middle, I'm going to put in a couple of rules. I'm going to have one 5mm in from the edge of the paper here, 5mm in from the edge of the paper here. So in my ruler guides, I put them in as verticals. So the first one will be, I'm going to put in at 49, add, and the next one I'm going to put in at 218, add. You'll have had these all set up before, but you can see there I've now got those set up. In my horizontals, I'm going to have one at 5, one at 25, one just off the bottom, so at 205, 195, and that gives me my space for my heading and my footer. Now I'm just going to add in actually two more. I'm going to add one in at 30 and 190, and that will tell me where I want to put my text box. So I'll add in a bit of colour. So I'm going to put in my heading here using the snap. I'm going to go to my swatches. I'm going to make it red. I want the line colour to be none. When I've done that, just watch that your border, your page goes all the way to the edge. Just again snap it onto it. I'm going to do the same to the bottom. I'm going to click from here. It snaps onto it all the way along to here. I want my fill colour to be red. I want my line colour to be none. And again, I can now put in my text. So text, I'll just start here. This is meant to say Cassart Store. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to do this in reverse. So I'm going to make my text white, and I'm going to embolden it. So I'm going to choose the stencil font, and I'm just going to move it a little. Now what I've done with the stencil font, it has got a background to it, which I'm not overly happy with. So I'm just going to choose a different font. I'll use maybe Impact. So the font, the text is white. Fill, none. That's better. That's much better. So I can now have that as my Cassart Store. I would do the same in the bottom, and if I go back to this, you can see what I've got here. I've added in at the bottom of mine the web address, etc., etc. So the next thing I'm going to do is try and add in this text box over two columns. So back to my publication, I'm going to go to text frame, starting here, click and drag down to the bottom corner. I'm going to fill it with placeholder text, so I right click, fill with placeholder text, and I'm now going to change it to 2 columns. So up in the top, change it to 2 columns. If you want the gap in the middle, called the gutter, to be bigger, you can click on the text frame setup and you can change that gutter to be larger. If you want it to be 5, for example, it will do that. At the moment, the text is wrapping round both. It's not text wrapping around the image, so that's going to be my next thing. I'm going to go into my layers. I'm going to click on my image and I'm going to say text wrap. I'm going to say tight and I want it to flow on both sides of it, and OK. And what you'll get is it text wrapping around it. Now, what I can actually do is at the moment I'm left justified text. So the text on the right hand side of the column is uneven. If I make it fully justified, it actually improves the look of the image. It actually makes it wrap better. The only thing it may do is it can increase the gaps between here and you can may get some big gaps. So it really is up to you what you want to try. Do you want to leave it like that, or do you actually want to improve it to look like that? Okay, so you can actually have it wrapping around a little bit better. Same thing over on this side. If I want to add a text box, I'll add in a 5mm and I will add in one at 69. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. That was horizontals I did there. So I'll just take away the 69. I'll just remove that one. And in the verticals, I want to add in a 5 and I want to add in a 69. Okay, so here is where I'm going to put in my other column. So from here down to here. Again, right click, fill with placeholder text. And again, if I want to text wrap around this, I would I've got the text wrap. I would say I want to be tight. I want the text to flow around the right hand side, and OK. And again, if I want the text to be fully justified, I can do that and it makes it look a little neater. And I can add the same to this side, just exactly the same. Ruler guides, I'll add another one. So this one is going to be another vertical. It is going to be 228, I think. I'll just add that in. And 292. Add that in. And there is my guides. So I'll just add the text frame in. Fill with placeholder text. Once again, click on that. Text wrapping, you want to be tight, but this time flowing to the left. And again, click on the text and make it fully justified. So that is how to set up your different pages with text wrapping. One thing I've got in this is I've actually got a drop caps in each of these to show where the start of the article is, what a drop caps does. So I'm going to show you how to do that. When you're in here, click on the text, go up to Format, Paragraph, and you can scroll down to drop caps and you can drop. Now you can do it over any number of lines you want. If you can do it, tells you 3 lines here. If I click on OK, you can see that it drops over 3 lines. You can do it over 2, 4, it depends. That will give you a different size. So maybe this is my main part, so I'm doing it over that. With this one, when I do Format, Paragraph, I'm going to add in the drop caps again. This time I'll maybe only do it over 2. Okay, and you can see it comes in a little smaller. So maybe in this one I'll do the same. Format, Paragraph, drop caps, and I'll drop it over 2 again. And what you get is quite a nice looking layout. And you can see that in the pages, I've got the front page, which is set up. I've got my inside, which is well and truly underway, and then I would have to complete the back. I hope this will help anybody who's doing this style of leaflet.